Good day, my dear students. You're welcome once again to our class on air. These classes are organized for you to be able to revise what you have done so that you can do very well in your Becker exam, the Basic Education Certificate Examinations. By the way, the programs are organized by the University Press PLC, the foremost publishers of quality educational materials which are used in various schools, among which is the NOSEC that you are using, the new Oxford secondary English course for junior secondary school that you are using, which is also popular. You will recollect that in one of our programs, we discussed the fact that we have certain sections in your Becker exam paper, like the comprehension section, which has about 10 items, the vocabulary development section, which has about 15 items. We also have the grammatical accuracy section, which has about 35 aspects, as units, and then we have also the spoken English form, which we have actually looked at. In this program, we want to look at the vocabulary development section. Actually, in this area, you know that we have many words that we use in different fields of human endeavor, human occupation. And we need to use the appropriate word for each of the occupation that we are dealing with. We are not going into the technical details, but we need to know some of the words that are used in these areas of human endeavor. For example, if you are talking about the school system, you will not say, I saw a group of people in a room and also a man was talking to them. You will say, I saw some students, if it's a secondary school, or some pupils, if it's a primary school, and you say it's a classroom, not just a room, and then talk about the fact that the man is teaching, not just talking to students. Those are the simple words that you use in the area of school system or teaching profession. So also we have some other occupations, professions, where we need to learn the simple words that are used there, not the technical jargons that are used, but the simple words that are used. That is the vocabulary development. And this is treated in the new Oxford secondary English course for junior secondary schools from book 1 to book 3. And it is under the title, Increase Your Word Power. Many items of human endeavor are treated in this book that I'm talking about, right from GS1 to GS2 to GS3. And so we are going to look at a few of them. It is not possible for us to look at all the occupations or the human endeavors that you have, but we look at a few of them. And I want to take you to pages 85 and 86 of this book. 85 and 86. That's we are not going to look at everything to detail, but 85 and 86 of this book. And we have for example, we have this one here. The vocabulary on air transport. You have choose the best word to complete each sentence. Hand baggage is kept where do you keep the hand baggage? In the plane. Where do you keep it? In the cabin. That would be the correct word, vocabulary for that one. The air traffic controllers decide when a plane can. Is it board? No. A plane does not board. No, it doesn't disembark. Not check in or back. Can. You talk about take off. That is the appropriate word, vocabulary for that one. Let me try and, example, circle the right ones here. You have the cabin. You have the takeoff. You don't say when the plane can fly. It's not flying. It's taking off, going off the ground. Now, on arrival from another country, a passenger must show his dash to the immigration officer. What does it show? It shows his passport. Passport to the one that qualifies you to go into a country. Planes take off from where do they take off? Is it cockpit? Of course not. Galley? No. Control tower? No. They call it runway, where the plane usually would go up and down, and that is the runway, which is this one, runway. Remember, it's runway, not run away. Runway is the thing, runway. Now, number 5, passengers are giving their boarding passes at the what? Where are they giving their boarding passes? They are giving at the departure lounge, where they wait. Departure lounge. That's where they are giving their boarding passes. Remember, these are just simple words used in connection with air transport. Then before takeoff, the plane dash on the runway. What does the plane do? Goes on and on and on and that movement is called taxiing. So the plane taxis on the runway, and before takeoff, just in that form. Then the passengers going overseas waited for 30 minutes at the dash before boarding the plane. Where do they wait? They wait at the where will they wait? Okay, they wait at the departure lounge. Departure lounge. Oh, sorry. This one, number 5. Oh, sorry, go on to number 5. Number 5. Passengers are giving their boarding pass at the check-in desk. Sorry, check-in desk, not the departure lounge. So this is not right. But the passenger going overseas they wait for that at the departure lounge, where they actually wait. Then as soon as all the routine checks had been made on the aircraft, the pilot entered the dash and got ready to take off. Which is the place of the pilot in a ship and in a plane? It is the cockpit. Cockpit. That's where he stays. That's the correct vocabulary of the register for that place where the pilot stays on a plane. Now you have another one, number 9. As soon as the passengers died the plane, they took their seats. What did they do? As soon as they boarded, talk about boarding. That's the correct thing. Don't say they entered the plane. They boarded the plane. So boarded the plane. If you say entered, that will not be right vocabulary or the right word or right register, or got into. That's not the right register. Of course, alighting is actually getting off the plane. So that's number 9. Now let's go on to the next one. Before the plane took off, the passenger was asked to dash their belts. What do they do to their belts? What do? They don't tighten, they don't loosen, they don't relax. They fasten their belt. Fasten their belt. Right, they fasten their belt. Fasten. Remember, it's not fasten, it is fasten. Fasten. The T is silent, right? Now the number 11, the pilot of the aircraft. Who is he called? It's called what? Captain Johnson. Captain Johnson was quite an experienced pilot. You call them captain, right? The next one is the beautiful dash in the plane served the passengers tea and sandwich in the plane. What are they called? Beautiful what? Air hostesses, because they are in the plane. Air hostesses. You don't call them people. You don't call them girls. They are air hostesses. Number 13. The dash who were responsible for the operation of the aircraft in the air were quite nice and courteous. The who? The what? The crew. All the members are called the crew. The crew. And then you have, as soon as the plane touched down, the passengers, what did they do? You don't say they get out. You don't say they went out. You don't say they boarded. You don't say they got out. They disembarked. That is the right register. They disembarked. Number 15, the officers in the dash gave specific instructions to the pilot. The officers in the what? Control tower. The control tower, they will give instructions. That is the correct expression in that form. That's for air transport. We have some other areas, like, for example, we have the next one is farming, for example, farming, which you have on pages 102 to 103 of the NUSEC GSS1. NUSEC, NUSEC is abbreviation for New Oxford Secondary English Course for GSS1. It is on pages 102 to 103 under the title Increase Your Word Power. This is on farming, for example. Find the best word to complete each sentence. Dash my crops with a pesticide. What do you do to the crops with a pesticide? What do you do to it? Well, I'm spraying. You spray, of course. That is the correct language, the correct register. The 2, the spraying. Right. Because Mr. Dike owns a large dairy farm, his family eats plenty of from from the dairy farm, what do they produce? It cannot be poultry, cannot be lamb, cannot be silk, cannot be manure. It is milk. Right. Then the land is arid. So it needs a good dash system. What type of system? Not drainage, not manure. Which is arid. What do I arid? It doesn't have much water. Therefore, it needs what? Irrigation. A system of supplying water to the plants. That is irrigation. One of my sheep is sick. I have sent for the doctor in charge of the animals. They are called the what? The vet. That is a proper register for that one. The farmer said that his harvest was disappointing because his land was not what? Fertile. That is the thing. When you say a land is fertile, no, it produces a lot of things. Therefore, the farmer can have bumper, very huge harvest. Then the cows were dashed on the bushy field. When suddenly it became dark, what were they doing? They were grazing. Are they eating? It is true that they were eating grass or something, but the correct thing is that they were grazing. That is correct register. In order to prepare a piece of land for planting, you first of all dash the land. What do you do to the land? First of all, cultivate. That is the right register, right word. Cultivate the land. Then you have a piece of land in which only fruit trees are grown. It's called, what do you call it? A piece of land in which only fruit trees are grown. Is it called fruit land? No. Is it called husbandry? No. Stable? No. Farm? No. It is an orchard. And what? An orchard. We have another one. When it's discovered that a piece of land is barren, then one can apply. What do you apply to the land to make the crops grow well and yield good harvest? What is it? Fertilizer. Fertilizer. Because pesticide is the pests, herbicide is the herbs that you, then insecticides are those insects and of course spray. Let's look at some other ones. The cattle dash abandoned the cattle, and so a few of them sprayed away. Cattle what? Cattle, what do you call them? Cattle rearer. They rear cattle. Cattle rearer. Those who follow the cattle to graze, to feed on the grass or something, that's the rearer. Those who engage in farming produce a lot of milk for sale. What type of farming is that one? Subsistence? No. The type of farming that you produce what you eat. Arable milk relates to land, that when the land is arable, it's very fertile, it's good. Sheep? No. And actually the correct answer would be dairy farming. Dairy. The one that produce a lot of milk. They rear cows and then they produce a lot of milk. In order to combat the menace of insects on this farm, the man had to apply a large quantity of what? What does he do? To combat insects on the farm. What does he do? Yeah, instead of insecticide, right? Many countries will choose insecticide, but on farms we talk about pests, and therefore pesticide will be the right answer in that area. Pesticide. On the farm you have pests, and you remember that herbicide is concerned with the herbs, with the herbs that are there on the farm. Then of course spray will not be out of sight, out of way, and then fungicide is also out of way. But the right answer actually is pesticide. So don't choose insecticide, as many people will choose. On the farm you have pesticide. Then dash farming is concerned with growing of the crops which the farmer and his family will consume. That is what type of farming? The one that you eat yourself, only yourself. That is subsistence farming. That is the correct register, the correct word. A type of farming in which machines are used in its operations is referred to as, when machines are used, is it hose? Is it cutlass? No. We talk about the mechanized farming. What type of farming? Mechanized farming. Then the last one here, a system in which farming is practiced through the supply of water to an area of land by means of pipes or channels, so a crop will grow well. It's known as, I've mentioned it before. What is it? Irrigation. What? Irrigation. That is the correct word for that type of farming. As I said before, there are many areas of human endeavor. We have another one, which is building. This is found on pages on page 123 of NUSEC, New Oxford Second English Course for GS1. This is on building now. The roof of a house is often made of dash sheets. Talk about corrugated iron sheets. Corrugated, not flex, not cement, not brick, not flex. It's corrugated iron sheets. To open the door, I need turn this key in the what? What is it? Where did he turn this key? In the bolt. Is it bolt? All right. A bricklayer builds the wall of a house by dash rows of bricks on one. By doing what? By laying rows of bricks on one on top of the other. That is called bricklayer. Then we have number 4. The electrician has already installed 2 electric dash in every room. Electric what? Sockets. How about electric sockets? Where you can tap your light. The carpenter hinges to the door and frame. What does he do? He screws. That is the proper thing. He screwed the hinges. That's the proper register. Many people are involved in the construction of a building. First, the dash prepares the plan of a building. Who prepares the plan? It is the architect. Remember we said it's not architect, but it's architect. The mason does the what of the buildings does the dash of the walls of a building. What does it? Who does that? That is he does the plastering. The plastering. The mason does the plastering. Then the dash is the person who gives an estimate of the material needed in the construction of a building. Somebody who does that is the quantity surveyor. You call them quantity surveyor. He gives the estimate of the materials needed in the construction of a building. Before a building is constructed, the dash is first of all cleared. Is it an area? Is it a bush? It's called the site. And this is the spelling of the site. Remember? The site. Now we have some other one that we follow. Talk about a house. A dash is a house built on one level without stairs. What do you call that type of house? Is a what? A bungalow. A bungalow. And the one that has more than one stair is called a story building, maybe 4-story, maybe 3-story. That is the one that you have there. Now number 11. After the painter has given the walls of the building, the second what? The second out of paint. It looked beautiful. Talk about the second coat of paint. A coat of paint. That is the correct register for that one. The skillful dash fix all the water tank, wash basin, toilet, etc. of the building within a short time. Who does the work of the water tank and then the wash basin? That is remember it is the plumber, not plumber, plumber. The B is silent. You remember we did that in our test of in our spoken English. Number 13, a building can collapse if that material are used in its construction. What type of material? Standard material that are not up to standard, that are more or less not genuine enough. All the sockets, electrical fittings of the manufacturing building were fixed by the competent and experienced. Who does that? Of course, the electrician. Electrician does that. Right, that's about building. Another area is politics. This is found on page 85 of the NUSEC GSS 1, New Oxford Second English Course, Book 1, and under the title, Increase Your Word Power, Politics. Now you have from the list letter A to D, choose the appropriate word to fill in the gaps in the following passage. This is on politics. The normal lifespan of Parliament had ended, so the House was what? It was dissolved. Dissolution of the Parliament. That is the correct register for that one. The electrical dash organizing an election. Commission. It started with the region of what? Of what type of thing? Of what? Region of what? Of the various political dash organize themselves. Political what? Political parties, not association, not society. They formulated their dash, which indicated their program of action if voted into power. They are what? Talk about the manifestos of the political party. That is the correct register in that area. Candidates visited their dash to ask for their what? Their constituencies. That is the correct register for that one too. It went to their constituencies to ask for their what? Number 7, to their, is it consent or agreement or ballot papers for their votes. They are seeking votes from the people in the constituencies. They organize various dash rallies. What type of rallies? What type of rallies? Campaign rallies. And such rallies, party dash was usually shouted. What do you call that? The one that is shouting, yeah, 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 yeah. It is called slogans, party slogans. Number 10 now. It said at last, the election day came. Voters were given dash. What do they give voters on the election day? They give them ballot papers. Ballot what? Ballot papers. What do they do with the ballot papers? They use it to do what? To cast their votes. They cast votes. What do voters do with their voters card or with their ballot papers? They do what? They cast their votes. In other words, the vote. Yeah, they cast the vote. You talk about casting votes. That is the appropriate register for that action that is done. To cast their votes for candidates of their choice. Each voter enters into the dash. Into the what? Is it arena or area? Polling booth. We talk about polling booth. Right? And when they enter there, what do they do at the polling at the dash station, at the polling station. Talk about polling station, where they cast the votes, right? And voted for the candidates of his or her choice. It was a dash ballot in which nobody knew who anybody voted for. What type of ballot is that one? It was a secret ballot. That is the correct register for that action which is done. When dash ended, what ended? When what ended? Voting ended. That's number 15. Voting ended. Dash began. What began after voting? That would be what? Counting. And also, counting will begin. Counting of what? What do they count? Of course, it is votes. The dash were announced. When we were announced after the something, obviously it is the results were announced. The candidates that were defeated accused the other candidates of what? Of dash of the election. Of what? Of not stealing, not thieving, not frauding, of rigging the election. And dash tribunals were then set up to settle any case of irregularity brought before it. What type of tribunal? Election tribunal. That's about politics. I have another one This is on Law and Order, which is on page around 14 of the New Oxford Second English course. On Law and Order, look at the passage here. These are not exercises, but we are going to look at certain words which are used there. A thief armed with a machete broke into, you don't say entered, broke into, not so, into an office. Enter will not be actually the right for that type of action. And force the owner of the business to open the safe. So the money from the safe, not just a container, from the safe, and jumped out of the window. Luckily, 2 policemen were passing by at the time, and they managed to catch him. The man was put in a cell at the police station. A cell in the police station, that small room that where accused persons are kept. The next day, he was handcuffed. Not handcuffed. No, thus his hands were not allowed to move freely. He was handcuffed with a iron something, and taken in a police van to a magistrate's court. Magistrate court. He was refused bail. Again, refused bail. Was not allowed to go home on the ground that he was accused of a serious crime. Serious crime. Talk about crime, and that is robbery with violence. When, for example, somebody goes about probably stealing other people's property with some force, not just going there. When the accused was brought to trial, you talk about the accused now, brought to trial, Mr. Akpan, the owner of the business and the only man who has seen the thief, was called as a witness. Talk about a witness for the prosecution. Prosecution is the one that is more or less the government. In the witness box, talk about the witness, where the witness will stand. He took the oath. Talk about taking an oath, swearing to the fact that he must, what he will say will be the truth. And counsel for the prosecution, talk about counsel for the prosecution, asked him to tell the court what happened on the day of the theft. He was then asked if the thief was in the courtroom, where they decide the case with the courtroom. At once, Mr. Akpan pointed to the accused in the dock. Usually, the accused will stand in the dock where he would be interrogated. Although the defense counsel was cross-examined, talk about cross-examining, when the counsel will be asking questions from either the accused or even the witness, talk about cross-examining. So although the defense counsel cross-examined Mr. Akpan thoroughly, he was unable to shake his evidence. Talk about the evidence, the thing that is to support what the man is saying. But his own client now is the person who seeks the service of probably a lawyer or anybody. The accused said on oath, not ordinarily, because he was sworn to an oath, that he proved his innocence. Talk about proving somebody's innocence, that somebody is not guilty of an offense. He had been in a bar. With a friend at the time of the theft, and so had an alibi. What about alibi? Means you were not there at the time that the crime was committed. We talk about alibi. The prosecution counsel cross-examined him without success. When his friend was cross-examined, he contradicted both himself. Not contradicting, not that something that he was saying is not in line with what he had said before. Both himself and the judge, not just an ordinary person, not the man, not the woman, reminded him that he was on oath. If he lied, he could be imprisoned for perjury. For perjury, you talk about perjury, not or contempt of court. Perjury is when you actually say you tell lies. Tell lies. That is, you will be accused of perjury because you have already sworn on oath that whatever you will say in court is the truth, but nothing but the truth. And then contempt of court, probably you are accused of that one too. This so scared the witness that he would not speak, and was finally told to stand down. Stand down.
No, leave the thing. Just leave the witness box. Counsel for both sides then made their closing submissions, arguments, and the judge said he would give his verdict. Talk about the verdict. In a week's time, the court then rose. Talk about court rising. The court then rose. A week later, the judge gave a brief judgment, and pronounced the accused guilty. Was guilty. A police officer then read out a list of previous convictions that had been done, that had been convicted on, and the judge sentenced him to a long term of imprisonment. All those are the correct registers for that type of thing. As I said before, all these have been treated in the New Oxford Second English course, right from GS1 to GS3. You have another one on law and order. This is an exercise now. Law and order on page 122 of GS2 NUSEC, New Oxford Second English course for junior secondary schools. From the options given, just choose the correct one. When a crime is dashed, it's the duty of the police to apprehend the criminal. When a crime, what do you do to a crime? You commit a crime. It's committed. When a crime is committed, it is the duty of the police officer to apprehend the criminal. The man was accused of dash because he had a gun at the time he committed the crime. Accused of what? When somebody commits a crime, when he has a gun, he's accused of armed robbery. He's armed robbery. After the criminal had been arrested, the investigating police officer, conducted his dash and charged the criminal to court. Is what? What does he do? He conducts his investigation. Then the man was refused dash because he was accused of a serious crime. He was refused what? Bail. Those are the correct registers, correct vocabularies for this type of law and order. Mr. Akpan took the oath standing in the dash box. We have come across that before. In which box? I mean in the witness box. Can be witness box. The accused said he had been in Lagos with friends on the day of the crime and so had what did he have? Since he was not there, he claimed that he was not there when the crime was committed. Therefore, he had an alibi. If you tell a lie in court after taking oath, you can be in prison for what? Can be libel. Is it libel? Evidence? Is it evidence? Is it bail? Not bail. For perjury. I've come across that before in the earlier one that we looked at. For perjury, telling lies in court. Apart from that, you have during the dash of the accused by the prosecuting counsel, he denied that he was involved in a crime. During the dash of the accused, the what? The cross-examination. Talk about cross-examination when the counsel was actually questioning him, posing questions to him, cross-examination. Having heard the arguments of the prosecutor and the defense, the judge gave his what? What does he give? Not opinion, not the general conviction, his verdict. That is the correct vocabulary or register. The accused was eventually dashed by the judge. What did he? He was bailed, arrested. Talk about discharged and acquitted. Discharged and acquitted. That's the correct expression. Then you have another one on the media on pages 153 and 154 of the NUSEC GS2. This one. Talking about this one again. I'm not sure you are familiar with it in the New Oxford Second English course, secondary schools. Book 2. You have the media. Again, radio and television are two major sources of dash and dash. Which one will be? Of news and what? And entertainment. Then number 2, the advantage of radio and television over newspaper is that they are the means of getting information or news across the people. They the faster means of getting the person who reads the news on television is the, what is it called? The person who reads the news on television is the, what is it called? It's not newsman, not journalist. What is it called? It's a newscaster. Number 4, a program can be broadcast dash, which means viewers can see the events directly as they happen. What do you call that type of program? It's a live broadcast. Live broadcast. In other words, you can see the things that are happening. The things that are happening, you can hear, you can see. Right? That is live broadcast as it happens. Now, the president's speech was dashed last night on radio and television. No, that would be, was broadcast. You remember, it is broadcast, not broadcasted. Broadcast, broadcast, broadcast. There is no past tense for broadcast. Past tense, present tense, it remains broadcast. So cannot be any other one. We have dash. We have a dash television set in our house. And what? What television? A color television, not colored. A color television. Color television. Color television. Color. Now, if you say it is colored, it means somebody has painted or something. But this is color television. Then number 7, the program was dashed on in the evening yesterday. Was what? What happened to the program? It was transmitted. Talk about transmitting program. It was transmitted in the evening yesterday. The dash are responsible for taking the pictures that we watch on television. Who are these men? Who are the men? The cameramen. Pictures. Cameramen are responsible for taking the pictures that we watch on television. In rural areas where there is no electricity, people use dash radio sets. What type of radio sets? Battery powered radio sets. Even though they are portable, but the correct thing is that they are battery powered radio sets because there is no electricity there. Each program on radio or television is based on script written by who? Script writers. There are many other areas of human endeavor that have been treated in the books that I have shown you. And as I told you, because of our time, cannot go through everything. But I've just chosen a few of them to show you that you need to go through them in these books and the series, books 1, 2, 3 of the new Oxford Secondary English course for junior secondary schools. If you go through them, I'm so sure that you'll be able to capture, you'll be able to do the 15 items in the vocabulary development section of the Becker exam, the basic education certificate examination exams, and therefore you are able to do very well, score A, not just ordinary C. You are able to score A. If you do that, I'm so sure that you are sure of your success in a very good way. Well, we are going to end it here today. Until I come your way again, it's Ayo Akon saying bye to you.